Hey guys, this is Paul Lozick. It is October the 19th, and I want to give you a brief update on what Same Boat Ministries and the Genesis Project have been doing in Venezuela. Uh, Back in July of this year, as you know, Venezuela held an election. Um, the whole world knows that it was fraudulent. This is a little bit about the result of a few days after the election. People took to the streets. There were riots. People were shot. People were jailed. The government put out the army. Basically, they put down all opposition. This is the streets of Caracas back in July and August of this year.
Vean esto, vean cómo está la marcha y vean cómo viene la represión. Allá vienen, allá arriba. Miren cómo caen las bombas a la gente.
So what that's created is a lot of fear on the streets. A lot of people have stopped talking out in public. There are people from the government being sent into churches. Threats have been issued against pastors, against people speaking out on public media. We could give you a number of instances, but just know that the government has really cracked down on everybody who would in any way oppose them. On the bright side, I want to talk to you about what these guys like Jose Angel and others who have been sharing the gospel, doing vacation Bible schools, actually working in a very difficult environment where things like gasoline and motor oil and food and all the normal little things that we think of here as so easy there are very difficult. They have been doing it in Venezuela, so God's really been working with these guys. So I'm just going to run through some pictures of what happened this summer. Sara, the fiance of Jose Angel, and a number of other churches and co-workers went ahead and organized vacation Bible schools. They actually did 3 of them in 2 different states. And a lot of people, a lot of young people, a lot of adults attended, literally hundreds in each of these places. And they did them for 4 days in a row, and each day the attendance would grow. They used basketball courts, outside arenas, sometimes in the streets, sometimes just in any place they could find where people could get together. And they scraped together the funds. Now, you guys were a big part of this because you helped us to help them. And so they were able to buy food, they were able to travel, buy gasoline. But the main thing is they were able to share Christ with a lot of young people. And so here's Jose Angel and Sara, and they'd go out, pick up kids, and take them to these different locations where they were sharing the gospel. They actually used some of the same curriculum that is used here in the United States, just the Spanish version. So very proud of these guys and what they did, but you were a big part of it. Even though you don't know them, even though you've never met them, you are an essential bridge to getting funds and resources to these people so that they can reach out to these children. And they have given me the numbers, and basically we're talking probably 500-600 young people attended these vacation Bible schools in 3 different locations in 2 states. A lot of them were reached. A lot of them gave their lives to Christ. We're a little more careful now with putting out some of the locations and some of the names of the people that participated, because if it gets out on social media, they could actually be in trouble. We did quite a bit of work with water well drilling, and as you can see, it's all physical labor, it's all manual, and a lot of it's being done by really young people like these here. So Jose Angel has been teaching them how to do this, and they are working at it. So quite a few wells have been drilled, And these aren't deep wells. These are wells that may be anywhere from 25 to 40 feet. But what they're doing is they're giving people water that they can then filter and have available for bathing, washing, and even drinking. So it's a really big deal. So we're grateful to you guys for helping us with this. And then here's something unusual that's been happening. This is Jose Angel and Sara. They are last week on the way to Maracaibo, which is a good 8-9 hour drive. So what's happened was there was a group called New Tribes that was working in the interior of Venezuela very closely with a lot of the indigent groups. In 2006 they were run out, but because they'd been established for a long time there, they had actually had children who were born in Venezuela with Venezuelan passports, and these children have been able to stay in Venezuela and continue to work with the Yacuana, the Yanomami, the Curripaco, the Piarroa, the Puinabe, the Hibi, the Guajibos, and the Shiriana, and a whole bunch of other groups. And so these people, these young people now who have been the next generation, have reorganized under a different name. So having heard about what's going on at the camp and the trainings that are taking place, water wells, organic gardening, composting, beekeeping, and all of these things, they have called on Jose Angel to drive to Maracaibo, which he's done. So here's a group of these people that are actually working. You can see Jose Angel and Sara in the middle, working down in these very remote places to impact and touch these different indigent groups. And so these people are asking for training, so you are helping Jose Angel and Sara to talk to these people so that they can come to the camp and receive doses of different types of training. These are people that are actually going down and spending their full-time lives down in very remote places. So we need to pray for them, because this is a very difficult task what they're doing. Many times they're not accepted or welcome down in these places. But nevertheless, they are going, and so God is opening doors, and you're making it possible, helping us help them. So keep Sara and Jose Angel in prayer, because they are doing an incredible job. That's them again down in Maracaibo. Just keep them in your prayers, please. And then here's Jose Angel's like our MacGyver. So he sent me this picture. He has invented a cheese press. So we're getting quite a bit of milk every day from our dairy cows, so they're making cheese. So he's found a way to press it into blocks using this ingenious system here, because we have people coming to the camp every day buying both milk and cheese. So that's a really good thing. On a side note, one last thing, this is a picture of Peru, and you can see the arrows pointing to Cajamarca. It's about 9,000 feet up in the mountains, the Andes. And so a group out of San Angelo, Texas, and a group out of the Texas Baptist Men are going to be flying down to Peru tomorrow, meeting there on Monday, and I will be joining them. And so I'm going to ask you to keep us in prayer as we go down to this place. The group from San Angelo has created quite a network of people in this area, but their big problem is water. And so TBM is going down to see if they can marry into this network, and I'm going to be there to help them with a little bit of translation and maybe some experience from what we've done in Venezuela. So keep us in our prayers for that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the sharing and just let you guys know, you don't hear a lot from us. A lot of the stuff that they tell us we're not supposed to put out onto media, but there is a lot going on in Venezuela. God is really at work in Venezuela in spite of all the bad things that you hear. So keep us in your prayers, and we're really grateful for all that you're doing. Thank you so much, and we'll stop this video if I can find out how to do that. And